Good morning, I am Adam Harris, and this is The Day Ahead.
Go ahead and click subscribe below to receive daily market analysis videos and important alerts. On the economic calendar for today, we have ECB President Draghi speaking at 2 p.m. and Bank of England Governor Carney speaking at 2:30 p.m. In the currencies, the British pound is bullish and seemingly ignorant of the uncertainty surrounding Brexit of late. The metals in commodities have decided to continue trending without any more waiting, and in the global indices, the US markets appear to be cautious as the US government starts up again from today. The equities are looking strong and healthy after a stormy December. You can jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. Good morning, and having a look at the currencies first. Look at the US dollar index. We can see that although it was relatively strong last week, towards the very last couple of days, we found that the US dollar index was knocked back into the middle of the 96 to 95 range, close to 95.50. And also, we've got this week we've got US agencies, government agencies preparing to start up again. So potentially the government shutdown may actually eventually work its way out of the system there. And also this week we've got quite a bit of news. We've got FOMC on Wednesday, and we also have non-farm payrolls on Friday. So it's going to be a bit of a volatile day there, and going to see how the US dollar reacts to that. It's looking a little bit weak at the moment. Euro US dollar still needs to get out of its range properly, just cannot seem to break out either way. So in the future I'm going to need to see the euro break past these previous highs to break out to the upside here, or previous lows to break to the downside there. But we're going to have to just wait and get more information there. We've also got Brexit issues this week, Brexit votes. There's just a lot of news this week, so exercising some caution. And this morning, actually, out of both the euro and on both the euro as well as cable, we've got news coming out of the UK, and as well as Draghi speaking between 9 and 9:30. So just expecting increased volatility on these charts. Now, cable at some point looking for price to retrace back into the moving averages, the buy zone, and then looking for an entry opportunity there. This is actually the same on almost every single GBP chart. So GBP yen, GBP Aussie, GBP CAD, looking for retracements. It's going to be a very similar setup. I'll add those charts tomorrow for for tomorrow's video. Euro Kiwi here, just showing you that it's continuing down from that nice trade, looking pretty good there. And Aussie dollar finally starting to show signs of actually turning. I just spoke about that very strong rejection of the lows, as well as that bullish divergence, and looking now, price is actually now starting to show potential for higher lows and starting to potentially go into an uptrend. So this I'm really liking the look of. There may well be opportunities on the near horizon for a long entry into that, especially if we do get that weaker US dollar this week. So this might only unfold next week, but keeping an eye on that one. In the commodities on the move now, we spoke about this last week. Gold, very, very keen to kick off. Ultimately didn't wait to do a proper retracement, which I'm a bit unsatisfied with, but at any rate, it's not my call. So the market gold has decided to push through its level of resistance there at 1300. At some point I do still anticipate a deeper retracement, but for now it looks as though gold is set to break through its resistance level and test the next level, which is closer to 1310. Silver, on the other hand, moved up, has not managed to break through its resistance level. It's back up at that today, so we'll see if it manages to continue doing that. But overall, that showing a lot of signs, and once we continue past these previous highs, we're likely to see it hit a little bit higher. But again, silver especially would have liked to have seen that pulling back into the moving averages. So in my mind, it's just a little bit premature. It doesn't feel like the right kind of move, and I'm not really comfortable with that. But at any rate, there we go. Now, Palladium, on the other hand, we spoke about this last week as well. Came back into the moving averages. This looking a little bit better. I'd still like to see it break the high of sort of Thursday and Friday's candle, starting to head a little bit higher, follow through. But it is at least back into that area, back into level of support. Previous support there at 1280, and back in the moving averages and taking off. So all of that looking a lot more healthy. Palladium at the moment looking like a slightly better trading opportunity there in terms of its behavior. Crude oil, just again now currently looking at this bearish candle. So what I'm looking for ultimately is to see a bearish candle and a break of the low of that, and a longer term retracement, or alternatively a break higher to signify that it wants to get out of that longer term downtrend. Still haven't got clarity on that yet, so just going to exercise some caution. It's leaning towards actually producing that bearish candle and potentially then heading lower in the coming weeks. Even looking here at UK crude oil, also now showing potential resistance where it has in the past. So break of last week's candle again would fall inside with the US crude oil as well, would signify weakening over the coming weeks. So when taking a look at the global indices, although we had a nice bullish week last week, we still finished a little bit indifferent, certainly in the US, very close to the previous highs of the previous week. And I'm just watching for a little bit of bearish divergence there. So possibly this week, a bit of sideways motion in line with FOMC as well as non-farm payroll, and then seeing how that ultimately plays out. Look at the S&P 500 as well as the US Tech 100 is pretty much the same. It is a bullish candle from last week, but doesn't mean we're in the clear yet. We're still within a level and area of resistance. I'd really like to see us break beyond that, but we also could potentially consolidate this week and then break a little bit higher next week. UK 100 especially, with there's some voting happening this week. We've also got a strong pound, and that has ended with last week being a bearish candle and a break of the low. That so we've got a bit of a swing high here on the weekly time frame, and so this implies that this market is certainly looking, the FTSE as well as Germany, potentially looking more bearish than the US markets, and so potentially that longer term downtrend going to resume. Whereas then we continue on, head towards Hong Kong and head towards Asia, we get a very strong finish last week and actually now a confirmed uptrend. So this is on the weekly time frame. That's looking very, very bullish, and that looks quite good and positive and upbeat, similar to the US as well. But this implies, though, that the medium to longer term for many parts of the world, aside from the UK, is potentially looking bullish. Australia also 200, finishing with that swing low, very bullish candle. We're only a couple of days away now from the end of the month, and a break of the high of this next indicates a potential much more bullish February. So basically seeing a lot of bullish tones across the world. Just keeping an eye on the UK 100, we might find that it falls a little bit low just with a stronger pound at the moment. And finally, looking at the equities in focus, looking at Facebook, just showing you now we're a couple of days away from the end of the month, and it's worthwhile taking all the monthly candles into account. Facebook looking very nice and bullish, and Apple finally stepping up as we discuss what we're looking for, giving us what we're looking for at least. Nice little bullish candle there, settling above that level of potential support now. So this is looking pretty much as expected. We're going to get a nice bullish candle here, this being a potential entry long on the much longer term for me there. Amazon actually now on the daily. I spoke about this in Netflix last week as swing entry opportunities to go long. That's now delivering as well. There's our swing low and a bit of a gap higher on Friday. Nice, decent, bullish performance. Netflix especially looking really, really nice, giving me exactly what I wanted. Nice pullback and a swing entry there into the moving averages and a break above the high of that. So that all going according to plan. Then the rest of the charts looking decidedly bullish. Just worthwhile showing, say, for example, Barclays and Lloyds Bank also showing very, very bullish monthly candles. So even the ones that were historically downtrending have also produced these very strong bullish monthly candles. So just showing you that Lloyd's being incredibly bullish, that now looking much more likely to be a longer term change in trend just because of the size of that single candle. BP being the only one that has currently sort of still being pushed below, showing a bit of resistance there and still below that historical level. I'd like to see that finish a little bit higher, but otherwise looking very nice and bullish across the board. So just waiting for a couple of days for the month to for the month to end, and then looking for longer term entries on quite a few of those to climb a little bit higher. On that note, ladies and gents, I want to wish you a wonderful week, and I will chat to you in tomorrow's video. Thank you.
Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.